Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sully Squad. We're very, very excited to talk some baseball tonight. We got a red hot baseball team. I mean, we got Trae. It was Trae Day the other night. I mean, I don't know. Could we get Trae Turner going? We got a football team. NFC champs. Had 50,000 people at the link just for a practice. I don't know what Allen Iverson would think about that, but hey, a lot of people were there. We're gonna get into a lot of stuff here. I got my usual cast, and plus we got a special guest. We got Kane Kalas hopping on with us, and Kane's already on here. So I got my regular cast minus Mike Fuji. So we'll have to compensate for his energy because Mike always brings the energy. So below me, I got my man the Hammer, Diego Bianchi, Mr. 6 for 6. What's up, dog? How you doing?
Not much, man. How you guys doing? Phillies had a good couple days.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. To Diego's what's that? Or my right of Diego. I got my man Sean Kilrain. What's up, Sean? How you doing, bro?
What's up, guys? Not much, man. Hanging in there. Just getting ready to start this week off, man. How's everybody doing?
Doing really good. And above Sean, I got my man Kane Kalas, nice enough to hop on with us today. Kane, how you doing tonight, man?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on, Jeff.
Yeah, appreciate it. So, obviously we could get into some Phillies and Trae Turner and all that stuff, but I'm a little interested. I was seeing about your professional poker player. So I was a little curious. What kind of got you into that?
Yeah, so I started playing poker when I was in high school, just kind of with friends playing home games because it was popular on TV at the time. After Chris Moneymaker won the World Series of Poker, there was kind of this poker boom because his story was really amazing. I think he played a $1 online qualifier and then had to win like 3 consecutive tournaments to qualify for the World Series of Poker main event, which is a $10,000 buy-in event in Las Vegas. It's the most prestigious event in poker, and then he ended up winning that against all odds. And so after that happened, poker really became popular on television, on the internet, and with the general public. And so when I was in high school, I started playing with friends. By the time I got to college, I decided I wanted to take it more seriously, and I started trying to play full-time online. And in the early on in my freshman year of college, it started to go very well, and I realized something I had a knack for, and the rest was history. Then I played for a living pretty much ever since. And now I make my primary living as an investor, but I still have poker as a supplemental income, and just got back from the World Series of Poker.
Nice. How'd you know I'm good at poker?
It was really when I was making the money. I had one of the faster rises in poker of most of any professional that I've spoken to. I really went to college, with a small bankroll, and pretty much after orientation, by the beginning of the college year, just after that month and a half period, I was doing very, very well, and I decided, okay, poker is going to be a big part of my life now.
Yeah, speaking about doing really well, I seen you actually won the biggest pot live on TV of all time, $2.something million.
Yeah, at the time it was the largest pot. Yeah, that was at Triton, Montenegro, and the way that went down. So these days, a lot of the biggest cash games in poker are private. The tournaments, for the most part, anybody can still enter, but the cash games they've made private, and unfortunately, very strong players oftentimes don't get access to those games because they just don't want your action in the game. So it's hard for me to get. Part of the reason why I was happy to transition mostly into investing and finance was because it was just increasingly hard for me to get a seat in the game. But in this particular game at Triton, I struck a deal with the team there. I broadcast the entire series, broadcast poker for the entire Triton series, as long as I was offered a seat in the big game at the end of the series. And so they agreed to that, and it worked out.
Nice. You were also on the World Series of Poker on ESPN. How was that?
Yeah, great. So I've played the World Series of Poker ever since I turned 21. I've played the main events every single year. It wasn't until recently that I started playing most of the events because, again, I used to be primarily a cash game player. these days I really enjoy the tournaments, but I've played the main event every year since then. And my deepest run in the main event was in, I believe, 2014 when I got 115th place, and that's when I was featured on ESPN.
That's awesome.
Yeah, really. So anyway, yeah. I mean, obviously, you're in the poker. I mean, I'm assuming you're still I'm assuming you're still a pretty big Phillies fan.
Huge Phillies fan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Philadelphia sports fan in general.
Oh, okay,
Nice.
cool. All right, yes, maybe we can get a little Eagles in there too. I didn't want to just assume. I kind of figured. I mean, obviously, growing up here, you know what I mean. It kind of gets in your blood. I would assume, correct?
Oh, absolutely. And I, maintain a close relationship with the Phillies. I sing the national anthem at opening day for the Phillies every season. This was the 9th consecutive season that I've done that, and then they invite me back to sing whenever they make the playoffs. So I had the honor last year of singing "God Bless America" at the World Series. So yeah, I'm a huge Phillies fan, and I'm hoping that we can do the same thing this year that we did last year. Come in undercover as a wild card, it's looking like, and then make it all the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I'm hoping that you're singing "God Bless America" at like the clinching game this year. How cool would that be? Like, I mean, hey, let's make it happen. You know what I mean?
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, I mean, obviously, we 2008. I mean, the just hearing your dad's voice call that final out by Brad Lidge. I mean, that was like one of the greatest moments of my life. You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
iconic,
I mean,
man.
just hearing that voice and seeing that happen. I mean, I've been a sports fan. I started watching sports. I was, at 1986, I was 8 years old. Right. And, and there was, and the Phillies were really struggling back then. You know what I mean? And, we had the 93 team that almost won. And, that team was my favorite team of all time, that 93 team. But 2008 brought it home. And, so I'm just hoping they do it again. Last year they had that great run, and, so let's hope they complete the process this year.
Absolutely. And, that was so amazing for my father, because for years before that, I mean, the Phillies weren't a very competitive team. And he always had optimism. He always had high hopes. And, you're talking about that 93 team. That's where the idea of my dad singing High Hopes really became a more mainstream. There's that video of him singing it in the lockers room with all the players, Larry Anderson joining in with all the other players. And he kept that, his whole career and the whole time. Even when I was at home, if I didn't get a chance to watch the game, growing up, the minute that Dad would walk in the door from the game, like I could tell whether the Phillies had won or lost, just by his demeanor. I mean, he was just such a fan.
That 93 team. So I also do a show called The Old School, and in a couple weeks we're going to do the 93 Phillies. So I'm like really excited to do that. Like, cause that, like I said, that was my, you're talking to a guy, I'm 45 years old. I started watching young, and, I grew up with Buddy Ryan Eagles. It was Buddy's Eagles. It was the Keenan's Flyers. They almost beat Edmonton. It was the Sixers, Barkley, and they screwed up the franchise by trading Moses Malone and stuff. So the Sixers they've been constantly messing. They messed my childhood up at the NBA. You know what I mean? But like you said, like that 93 team was like, I loved baseball. I mean, I played baseball growing up, and, those guys, man, like you said, like, I know your father loved that team, but you had Dutch Dalton and you had Dykstra, and that team like epitomized the city. I mean, they went out there, they go out there and I remember the news. I think the paper in Atlanta was it was almost like they compared the 93 Phillies to like a bunch of Vikings, like come into town, and basically they're gonna beat you in baseball, they're gonna steal your women, and they're gonna drink beer, and they're gonna pillage. You know what I mean? It was kind of like that. It was like such a great team and a cast of characters.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more from that team. And we weren't expected to do what we did, right? I mean, that's part of what made us so great. It's not like we came in as the favorites to win the NL or anything. We maybe we're supposed to be a wild card team, a playoff team, but then to go all the way with that cast of characters is just amazing.
Yeah, and to put it all, when the '93 team, to show how they really captured a lot of fans. I mean, Ken Fry here, he's a Mets fan. He said he was 13 in '93. We loved the '93 Phillies. He's a Mets fan. They were a lot of fun. So, I mean, I don't know if I could love a Mets team, so I'll give them a lot of credit there. You know what I mean? I got another comment here. Rick Marcus says, how disappointed was Todd when Houston beat the Phillies last year?
So Todd is my brother, and he's the broadcaster for the Astros. So Todd was not at all disappointed, but I was pretty disappointed.
Yeah.
I was disappointed when my brother Todd came to town and did it against us. I mean, I obviously went to a number of those games. That Astros team is just very, very tough, obviously. But it was the second time that Todd's team had faced off against my Philadelphia Phillies in the World Series. The first time was when he was with the Tampa Rays. He was doing sideline reporting with the Rays, and the Rays came to town, and we beat them then. And now with Houston, it was a very exciting time for my brother.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that too. You mentioned the Tampa Bay series, and ironically, Cole Hamels just announced his retirement yesterday. I think he's the last guy from that team.
Right, yeah.
I thought Cole Hamels retired for like 3 years.
Yeah. I think we all kind of did, but I think, you know what I mean? Like,
have you ever heard Joe Conklin's impression of Hamels?
No,
it's great.
It's good.
It's classic.
Yeah. Well, you know what's so funny about Cole about that too? It's like, and Conklin nails. I mean, yeah, Conklin nails everybody, right? It's funny as hell, but he does the whole like the California thing and all. But it's Cole Hamels though, even though he doesn't sound like it, like turned out to be like one of the toughest guys probably on the team. I mean, he always took the ball. You know what I mean? Like he was the man in 08. I mean, how many guys win the NLCS MVP and World Series MVP? I mean, you don't see that a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Total transformation from him, man.
Yeah, I got.
So now, go ahead, Joe.
No, Joe. I was going to say.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Ken Fry just had another comment. He said he loved when Harry Kalas would say Mickey Morandini.
See? That's what stands out to me.
Mickey Morandini.
Yeah.
Mickey is still he's a club ambassador for the Phillies. I get to see him frequently. He's a great guy. He actually I gave my girlfriend Amanda some hitting lessons because we play softball on Sundays. So.
That's pretty cool. There's Maiko Spencer has a comment for you. He says, "Hey Kane, weren't you in a World Poker tournament at the Borgata in 14? I was a pit boss there, and the name sounds so familiar."
Oh yeah, in 2014 is when I was living, I believe, in Cherry Hill, Jersey, and I would travel to Borgata frequently. So I played all the WPTs at the time that happened at Borgata. I hope they bring the WPT back to Borgata after COVID. Borgata hasn't had the same type of poker tournaments they had before. They tried to kind of bring some of it back last year, or was it earlier this year? It may have been January this year. But I hope they'll continue. I hope they'll bring that World Poker Tour back there because it was a great venue.
What's your favorite thing about playing poker? I know the money, but like besides the money.
Yeah. What I like about poker is so people have this idea, if you're going to play poker, you better be lucky. But in the short run, it's almost all luck. But in the long run, it's all skill. It's like if you go play craps at a casino, in the short run, you could win, you could lose. In the long run, you're for sure going to lose, right? And what I love about poker, as opposed to other things like singing or performing, for example, if I wanted to be one of the world's best performers or best singers, I might not accomplish that in my lifetime, and it would not be because I wasn't a good enough singer. It could easily be because I wasn't in the right place at the right time, because, I'm dependent on other people. I'm dependent on the machine. In poker, you're not. In poker, over millions of hands that I've played online, in the end, I'm going to return around what I'm expected to return, just because even though, it's all luck in the short term, in the long run, it's all skill. And so at the end of the day, I need to be accountable to myself and myself only as to how well I do at the poker table. And that's something I really like about it, is not needing to depend on external forces, in the universe.
Right.
Yeah. What you mentioned the singing. I mean, what kind of, I can't even imagine what that feels like to stand in front of 40 some thousand people. I mean, does it, what's the, I mean, I don't know if you could even describe it, but what's like the rush like? You know what I mean? Is it? Do you get like a rush? Is it like a natural high? I mean, I can't even. I wouldn't even know.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's once you step out there and all the people are there and you see the gravity of the situation, especially last year at the World Series. I mean, it's a huge deal. At this point, I've done it enough times that, I'm a little more used to it. I don't get as nervous, but I'll tell you what, that was my first time singing at the World Series, and that was just electric. That was something else. I enjoy that. I enjoy performing in front of, huge groups of people, but I also enjoy singing in studio. And that's why in April, I released my album, High Hopes, dedicated to my father and the city of Philadelphia. And so if you get a chance, check it out. You can, stream all the music on Spotify, on Apple Music, wherever you stream your music. You can also purchase the CD on my website, kanekalas.com. And you can also purchase it at the Phillies New Era store. If you don't see it out, just ask somebody there on the main concourse, where the High Hope CD is by Kane Kalas, and they'll get you one.
Oh wow, that's awesome, man. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, check that out. That's great.
Nice.
I got another question here. Miko Spencer says, as a poker player, do you have a tells? An older guy said to me when I bluffed, I tapped my finger. And what's your favorite game?
So as a professional poker player, the number one thing that you're concentrating on when you're playing against really tough competition is more the math side of the game.
Mm-hmm.
However, when you're playing against amateurs or less experienced players, you can pick up on certain live tells and live reads. I guess one of the tells that I've seen frequently is if somebody is so the general idea is if they're strong, they act weak, and if they're weak, they act strong. So let's say an amateur raises, and I'm looking at their chips and contemplating a re-raise. What I've seen some people do is if their chips are all stacked in a pile, they kind of push them forward towards the pot when they might be folding, because what they're doing is subconsciously indicating, oh, I'm ready to go all in, even though they're not. So that's one example of a live read or a live tell that I've seen frequently. Now, when you're playing against other very strong professionals, they're not going to be giving this type of stuff away. It's going to be much smaller things that you need to pick up on in terms of live tells. But that's when it comes down to the mathematics and the frequencies.
Yeah. What was that? What was that movie? What was it? Rounders, where the guy goes, "Pay that man his money." Right?
Yeah. Freddie KGB. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alligator blood.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, really. So, hey, listen, before we get out of here, you're an Eagles fan, obviously, too. What do you think of the Birds this year?
Well, the Eagles are a favorite to win the NFC this year, which is pretty amazing. What I think we have going for us is I don't think there's, it seems like all the talent's in the AFC this year. So that's really looking up for us. Also, it was amazing that Howie was able to keep the whole team together, right? I mean, because we have some older veteran players, some people who have been thinking about moving on from football altogether. We obviously are paying Jalen Hurts a lot of money, so that cap space is a little bit tight. So for him to keep pretty much the whole squad together from last season that made that run to the Super Bowl is pretty amazing. I'm feeling pretty good. I think that we're not going to see this. I think it was kind of the success and the other good records in our division last season was kind of fluky. I don't think we're going to see that out of the Commanders again this year. I don't think we're going to see. I imagine the Giants are going to regress as well. The Cowboys, of course, are always going to be in there, but we've seen that movie 100 times. We know what they like to do. They're going to get it. They're going to get into the playoffs as a wild card, and then lose in either the first or second game. I don't know if they have the first game against a team in the NFC South, then maybe they'll win that first game again. But other than that, I'm not too worried about them. So I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good about our chances to make it through and hopefully make it back to the Super Bowl, and then we'll try to win this time.
Yeah. Hey, here's hoping. Here's hoping you're singing at the World Series, and who knows if you're a good luck charm in the World Series, maybe the Eagles will have you there for the championship game, and we'll all get seats down Broad Street and throw it down. You know what I'm saying?
That would be awesome. One of the songs on the on my album on High Hopes is the Eagles victory song, and it's cool.
Nice.
It has a voiceover in the beginning by Merrill Reese. And, we obviously have a big chorus of people together, and it's like it's very dramatic. It's a very dramatic version of the Eagles fight song. It's cool.
Cool.
I got a question about the other day. You seen they gave Trae Turner a standing ovation to make him feel better. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I mean, give the guy a standing ovation for delivering a good performance, not for being in a slump. That's the way I look at it. I understand where they're coming from. I understand where their head's at. They're trying to show their support for him. But meanwhile, like, what does it say to the other players on the team who are producing?
Right.
It doesn't seem like a very Philly thing to do.
That's what I was thinking the whole time. I'm like, what is going on right now? This is not us. Why don't we cheer on Embiid? Why don't we cheer on all the other players in this city that are having bad times? It's like, oh, Trae Turner.
Right.
But be better with all the money you make.
I guess because he's new to the city. I don't know. I mean, it is 2023. We're in the age of participation trophies and handouts and everything else. So maybe that's part of what's going on as well. But no, I mean, my opinion is I like that people are still being supportive. Look, for years, in some Philly sports anyway, sometimes our home field advantage is not as strong as some other teams where it should be stronger. I mean, we're having sold out stadiums. We have the best fans in the world. But just because our and I know this by betting sports, just because our fans could be so hostile towards their players who aren't performing well, right? Sometimes our home field advantage would actually be less than other markets where the fan base isn't as into the game, and it's because we would boo our players. So I'm not saying to go out and boo Trae Turner, but I'm saying before we give him a standing ovation, maybe we should see him produce something first.
All right, Greg, I couldn't agree more with that.
Yeah, it's funny, because Diego and I worked together. We were talking about it, and I said the same thing. We both had the same opinion. We're like, I don't know. Now, my only thing was the fact he actually did it a 3-run shot. So I was like, hey, you know what? If that's what it takes, screw it. You know what I mean? Like, if maybe you'll start hitting again. Yeah,
the idea is let's shake things up and see what happens. Then hopefully it worked. We'll see.
Yeah. Should we start giving? Nola, I was going to say, maybe we should give Nola a standing ovation. Maybe we should give, Schwarber had a good day yesterday, but let's try to get Schwarber going. Maybe we should start standing up for everybody that's struggling. You know what I mean?
Mike Fuji didn't make the podcast today. Should we all stand up and give him a standing ovation?
Yes, right.
Yes.
Yeah. Wait. Hey, listen, Kane. I really appreciate you hopping on, man. It's been a lot of fun. Make sure everybody checks out. What was the CD again?
It's High Hopes. Easy to remember.
Hopes?
High Hopes.
Great. All right. Yeah. So make sure you check it out. And thanks again. And hopefully you'll be singing at the World Series again, and we'll be all down Broad Street partying, or what's off.
I'd love that. Thanks for the time, guys.
All right.
you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
your time, man.
See you, man.
Have a good one, Kane.
See ya. It was a good time.
Yeah.
That's a first. We never had poker conversation on the Sully Squad before. So that was interesting.
That's cool.
I like that stuff, man, because that's one thing I was telling Diego today, I'd be like the world's worst poker player, dude, because I don't hide things. And like I always, if somebody could look at me and they'd be like, "What's the matter?" And I'm like, "Nothing." They're like, "Yeah, get the hell out of here. Something's wrong." Like I can't hide shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'd be like the dude. I was gonna say I'd probably be like the dude from American
Well,
Pie. Like, oh,
you know how he said like that amateur, like act strong when you're weak, act weak when you're strong.
Yeah.
I do that shit every time I play Texas Hold'em. I have the shittiest hand in my hand, and it'd be like I'll push my chips a little forward, trying to scare the person across the table, like I'm about to go all over. Really, I'm not about that. I'm about to fold. He called that. That's like the number one telltale sign for an amateur.
Kane Kalas will be taking your lunch money like
one hand. He's taking all. What's your take on the booing on the cheering, Sean?
I mean, I know it's Philly. I was happy for him, you know, but he is making a stink with his play. Mainly Joey could tell you, I'm big on defense with his glove, man. I mean, he's making error after error. But to kind of save himself, like Joey said, with that nice 3-run shot, I mean, he kind of redeemed himself, you know. I liked it that he came out and he did a curtain call, like, yo, thanks. I know I'm screwing up and I'm basically getting shit on, but I got more to give you. I think he's going to give us some good stuff, man. Even when we think he's not going to give it to us, he's going to give it to us. You know.
See, I'm surprised a lot. Like a lot of guys your age, you would think like you and Joe, you'd be like, I hate that. Like me, like I hate everything about that. I thought that was the corniest thing ever. I thought that was the softest thing ever. It was the most 2023 thing you could possibly ever do. You know what I mean? Like that was not the opinion. That's not. To me, we come off as like we're like tough fans. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I'm an outside fan looking, I'm looking. They're soft too over there. They're soft too in Philly. Standing ovation for a bum. I can't get behind it. Like I said to Joe earlier, Trae Turner didn't hit a home run because you guys got up on your feet and clapped for him. Trae Turner hit a home run because he's a good baseball player. Because he should be hitting home runs every other day. Because he did hit 307 years. You know what I'm saying? So like. It's hard for me to feel bad for somebody who makes all that money, was good for all them years, and then me be like, yeah, let me get on my feet that I worked all day on for $20 an hour to cheer this $300 million man on. I can't do it.
With his contract, back to what you're saying, you're absolutely right. As a player, but also as a fan, you got to show up night in and night out. And has he? No.
Right.
But now let's hope that this is a thing to become, you know, every night in and night out that he is producing. Like I said to you before, the glove wasn't there. The past 2 nights, man, he's wheeling and dealing. But like us Philly fans, we need you to tune in and tune out every night, produce.
Yeah, like but now, do you give it to every struggling player? Do you give a standing ovation to every struggling player now? Is that setting a precedent that every time someone's really, really struggling, let's give them a clap?
It's almost like Kane said, a participation trophy. You want a cookie? Yeah. I mean, let this be the one-time thing.
Yeah. It's got to be the one and only. This can't be a trend.
It has to be. Because
I was gonna say we can't do this shit all the time, but I mean, hey, you know, if the guy starts hitting, then
I think it will.
Dude, I don't care. Like
see, that's the thing. I don't root for not one guy. You know what I'm saying? That plays these sports. I root for the jersey they have on. If you blow, you blow. You know what I'm saying? And if you're good, you're good. I'm cheering for that jersey, the Eagles jersey, the Phillies jersey, the Fire jersey. I don't care who puts it on. I don't care about Trae Turner enough to try to clap him out of a slump. I don't care enough about Nick Cassius. I don't care about these guys. I care about them winning for the jersey they have on.
No, I hear you, but I think don't you think part of it's the contract though? I mean, if you're sitting here, right, you're a Phillies fan. But by the way, nobody's cheering for anybody tonight because it looks like there's a doubleheader tomorrow. So
Yeah,
right. So anyway, I think a lot of it, you look at the contract, right? You look at this dude, he signed for 11 years, 300 and some $1 million. Now, obviously, it's not our money. It's Big John Middleton's money. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we ain't paying this cat. But, you know, he's and there's no salary cap, but let's keep it real. I mean, if a dude's making $28 million a year, he's going to be in that lineup every day. So I think part of it was like kind of the fans going together and being like, yo, we're stuck with this dude. Like, let's try to get him going. And honestly, you know what? It's the reverse mob mentality. You know how like you have the mob mentality when it comes to like you know, like booing. I think sometimes booing is the mob mentality. You get a couple dudes booing, then all of a sudden everybody's like, "You suck." You know, it's like everybody does it.
Yeah.
This was kind of like the reverse. I mean, you had guys on like on 94 WIP. We're saying, you know, we're on there like kind of advocating for it, like, let's try to get Trae going, let's cheer for him. And then you got a groundswell of people. A couple people did it, and they probably were like, you know what? Yeah, all right, fine. You know, it's kind of like follow the leader type shit. You know what I'm saying?
So is it authentic?
Yeah, no. I mean,
were there people standing really like, let's like a sarcastic clap? Yeah,
I think
I hope you get better. Or was it serious? Like, bro, we want you to win. Let's go. Like, as a player, I mean, I don't know how I would. Like I said to John, I feel like that actually would put more pressure on a guy. You imagine you coming up, just playing normal regular season baseball. You got 35,000 people standing up, clapping you on. You gotta feel a little bit like, damn, I suck, and you put more pressure on yourself.
But back to the participation of clapping, like getting up, you as a fan, you want to be like, yo, Trae, do your thing, get your ass in gear. You know, we got you. This is you. You got to produce it. Like back to what you said about the fans, there were some passionate fans because you know all of us, we know the game, we love it, and we tell the players, like you said before, and you said how it is when you stink. We're going to tell you. I mean, it's tough love, but, you know, I think he gets it back together, back to what we were saying.
I still had confidence in Trae Turner even before the ovation. I thought he would, like I just said, good players eventually snap out of it. Nick Castellanos had a horrible slump last year. Look at him this year. Once he got comfortable, he snapped out of it. He proves who he is. And I always thought Trae Turner would. He's not gonna hit 230 for 11 years in Philly.
No.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say I kind of equate it to like the fans just want him to succeed so bad. It's like remember that Diego, remember that Sixers, John, where Ben Simmons was the foul line and the dude was like this? You know what I mean? He's like this. Like,
real easy, dog. I know it's real easy. Just like this. Bob.
He's like, yo,
dude, that's got to go down. That's Philadelphia history right there, that video. You know, that's good.
That was like, yo, that, you know what that was reminding me of, like, White Men Can't Jump when Wesley Snipes was like this. It's so pretty. It's so pretty.
Yeah. So pretty.
Yeah. I mean,
you know, I don't know, man. You know, but sometimes it's, you know, you know what it is. Let's be honest. You know, it's all about support. You know, and I'm gonna tell you guys something, right? Like sometimes we all need support, right? And you know, if you have a problem at work, or you have a personal injury, or you slip and fall, if you need some support, you might need a lawyer. Now, if you need some support and you need a lawyer. Let me tell you guys something out there. There's nobody out there better than my man Jason Fine, a.k.a. Attorney Big Al. Motor vehicle accidents, slip and fall, workers' compensation, personal injury claims. Like I said, anybody out there needs support. Diego, if you slip and fall at the job, you know what I mean? And you know,
I'm going to go over there. I'm going to go over there and be like, Attorney Big Al, the Sully Squad sent me to get fixed up, bro. Get me some cash.
That's right. You know what I'm saying? And we ain't talking about that I'm going to get you sucker where he falls down on the jaw and he's like, I should sue you for $100 million, but I'll sell it right now for a 40 ounce. Nah, Yo, Big Al getting you a lot more than a 40 ounce. He's getting you like the store that houses the 40 ounce Johns. You know,
he's getting you what you deserve for that injury. That's what he is.
Yeah. So anyway, he's got all 3 offices. He's got one in Philadelphia, PA. He's got one in Cherry Hill. He's got one in Pittsburgh. You call Jason directly, or you can call Meiko Spencer for a free consultation. So anybody out there, like I said, you might need some support. Now, Phillies are playing some good ball right now, so I don't really think you need the coffee to watch the Phillies because they're playing well. But if you do,
you need it when Trae Turner comes up.
Oh man, that's funny, dude. Well, yeah, but you know what? I got faith in my man. I think he's going to start hitting, bro.
Have faith, he will.
But you know, the best coffee out there, man, is Monkey's Cult Coffee. Join the cult. You could use the promo code OOTBS Sports at monkeycultcoffee.com at the checkout, while the owner Matt donates 10% of each sale to the National Pediatric Foundation at nationalpcf.org. Not only do they have great coffee, but great dudes. I mean, hey, man, anybody that helps helps out kids is aces in my book. You know what I'm saying? We got a new sponsor here. Already out of the box. It's the Ultimate Game Day Mug. You could use the promo code OOTBSSport20 at dugoutmugs.com. So looks like it could be a good Christmas gift, or hey, or maybe when you're watching Trae Turner strike out and
put your coffee in it. You use this mug to put your Monkey Cult coffee in it right before Trae Turner comes up the bat.
There you go. There you go. That's perfect. Or you can like pretend swing, like my man was when Ben Simmons was doing the free throws. Maybe you could be at the John swinging. You know what I mean? You could swing along with Trae Turner. You know what I'm saying? Why not? I got another one here. Couple weeks. We haven't firmed down the date. I'm waiting to hear from Fuji. Sean, you're going to be on this, John, with me too. But we're the old school's taking a ride down memory lane, and like I was telling Kane Kalas, we're going to do the '93 Phillies on the next one. So I'm really pumped to do that, John. I can't wait. That's one of the most exciting ones that I could think of. You know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then I got one more out there. Usually I have Fuji do this, John, but we'll do this one together. Philly sports trips. Now we got football season coming up. You know, our birds are flying everywhere. You know, if you want to fly with the birds, you want to travel with the birds. They go everywhere. This particular graphic is the Washington trip, and I know I'm going on that, John. Me and Mike are going on that. Sean, you may still be going on that, right? You're looking into it.
Yep.
All right, so we're going on that, John, and it's going to be a great time. And so make sure you check out Philly Sports Trips. They'll take care of all your needs. So, all right.
And Philly Sports Trips got a nice tailgate every home game.
Oh yeah.
And a live casino. So
great food, man. Great food.
Check them out. They're good. We'll be down there home opener, I think.
Yeah, I plan on having a good time.
Yeah.
So
go to the game, tailgate.
Philly Sports Trips are great.
Yeah.
Get with them.
Yeah, well, so speaking of the Philadelphia Eagles, Sean, you were down there last night. Now I don't know what you could get from a practice like that, because it's not like they weren't really hitting, correct? I mean, it was kind of
weren't. They had the things on their helmets, almost like
putting on a show. They were putting on a show for you guys.
Yeah, 50,000 plus, man.
That's crazy.
It's it's all about one thing we know about us fans: loyalty. I mean, there was not one single empty seat, and if it was, you're going to the bathroom. But man, it just was something to see all these fans just enamored, like you said, for practice. Like Iverson would say, practice. Talking about practice.
Let me get this in here real quick. If you got something to watch, if you want to see something, watch the Philadelphia Union tonight. You could use your support, everybody out there. We're playing in the quarterfinals. So before I forget, quarterfinals
cool.
Tonight.
Oh, they're playing? Cool. All
yeah.
Right.
So before I forget.
Don't they play Messi in a couple weeks? What's up with that dude?
Nah.
That dude's like crushing it, right?
Yeah, right? He made another crazy goal yesterday. He's got like 7 goals in his first 3 games in like 30 minutes. He's actually made American soccer very fun to watch. regardless.
He's that firecracker for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't watch the MLS much probably until last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he brings a different energy. Even if you're a fan of the other team, you're rooting for him to find a way to stop Messi. Like one way or another, you're intrigued and you're really locked in to the game.
Both teams to see which way it goes, what's the outcome. You're right, because he's such an electric player and hands down one of the best of all time. I mean,
right.
Magician with that ball, man. Like you said, making crazy. He's the Jordan of soccer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he got that Jordan deal too. He got that Jordan deal. He got the Adidas profit share off Adidas for every single soccer shoe they sell. He's got to deal with Apple. He got a Michael Jordan type deal. He's only like the second player ever to have that kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know shit about soccer, but it's making me want to roll a soccer ball out and tell Joey to start kicking.
Yeah, now a report came out. Now, all right. So like the biggest up and coming prospect soccer player, like young kid, or like they're like he's the next great. It's this dude Mbappe. He's having like contract issues. That a report came out that MLS is trying to find a way to bring him to the MLS too. Kind of like a same sort of deal. So if they start doing stuff like that, bringing players that like maybe you guys don't care about, but like you said, if you're gonna roll a ball out and let Joey play soccer, a guy that he can really grab onto and be like, yeah, I want to be like him. You know what I'm saying? Because in this country, who do you want to be like? You want to be like NBA players. You want to be like football players, baseball players. Who wants to be a soccer player? I didn't even grow up wanting to be a soccer player, and I love soccer. You know, when I grow up, I'd be like, I want to play football. You know, I want to play Byron McNabb.
You know, like you said, soccer's not it's slowly coming here to be big. But you look in Europe, that's all they eat, breathe, eat, and sleep.
Right, but like I said, they also have like them transcendent talent players where like you fall in love with this guy. Like you're like, this guy's great, so you start to follow him. Yeah. You need kids to have a role model in that sport if you want them to play that sport. You know, like how many people look up to LeBron James and want to be LeBron James?
Mm-hmm. For example, I was in Italy when they won the World Cup. Dude, it was bananas.
That was probably crazy.
I mean, yeah, just like you said, and their team was stacked.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, damn, and I'm a guy that doesn't really watch soccer or follow it, but my family members and all,
right,
like, dude, this is real deal stuff. You know?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like soccer's never going to be able to bring guys your age that like never liked the sport to be a soccer fan, and I don't think that's what they're trying to do. What they're trying to do, like I said, they're trying to make your kids be a soccer fan. Yeah. Your kids be like, Dad, I want to go to the Union game and watch Messi. You're like, fuck Messi. God, take this little motherfucker. You know what I mean? I guess.
I want to play football.
Yeah, but you know what, though? I mean, it's funny you said that, though, because, I mean, admittedly, I don't know shit about soccer, but I wouldn't mind going to a soccer game, though. I've never been to one, dude. I mean, it'd probably be fun. I mean, if nothing else, it'd be an excuse to party. You know what I mean? Just to go and, eat some food, have some drinks, tailgate. I mean, shit, I'll tailgate anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is a fun time down at the Union with the Sons of Ben. And
yeah, they're good. They're actually good.
Yeah.
So anyway, we got the Union talk out the way. Back to the Birds, baby.
Yeah, well, real quick though, one last Union thing though. When's the next game you're covering though?
Tonight. So I'll be writing an article tonight.
No, but I mean,
I'll have that out. But I don't even know because with this storm out here,
you're not getting it in.
So the game's supposed to start at 8. They're saying the storms aren't going to start till 8:30. What I think can happen is they'll play the first 30 minutes. Then they'll postpone the game they'll delay the game for like an hour and a half, let the storm pass over, and they'll play they'll play till like 11 o'clock at night or 12 o'clock at night. You know what I mean? They'll start like 10 and play till like 11 or 12, depending on what the forecast looks like going forward.
It looks crappy. I doubt they even play.
Yeah, honestly, they should probably just move it to tomorrow.
Yeah. Safe and sorry.
Well, I was gonna say, Mike Lauro getting his John Belaris on. He said, "Rain is coming, boys."
It looks like it. My trees are blowing like crazy now.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, so I have down here training camp standouts. One thing I read. Did you guys see? Speaking of Mike Lauro, because Mike Lauro is a big fan of Trae Sermon. Now, I did read Trae Sermon seems to be getting a lot of
Yeah,
he's getting a lot of action in training camp, so he
did
may
last
wind up
time.
making this team.
For some reason, Nick Sirianni, every time he talks, he makes it a point to talk about, even when he's talking about any of the running backs, he always brings up Trae Sermon and how talented he is.
Yeah. Well, he has the size, guys. 6 foot 220. I mean,
Yeah.
that's one in a back. Like we said before, do we use them like that? No. But now, like we said before on our show, you have Swift, you got Gainwell,
Penny.
you got Sermon, and Boston Scott and Penny. You know, it's pick your poison and Swiss Army knives. It's just the fact that we have to run the ball and punch them in the mouth. Wear that front line D out. But I mean, I'm hoping that they do run the ball, but also get the guys like Swift and Gainwell out in the slot because they can catch and receive as a back. You know, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they bring.
That's the one thing that the Sirianni offense, the Sirianni-Steichen offense really hasn't done these 2 years. They really haven't thrown the ball to the running backs that much. I mean, if you really think about it, they mostly throw to the wideouts, they throw to the tight ends, and then they run the ball with the running backs. But the Eagles really don't have. They really haven't had the screen game that they used to have with LaShawn McCoy and Brian Westbrook. And I'm kind of wondering if maybe they have more of a screen game with DeAndre Swift.
Now, do you think the reason for that is because Jalen's such a runner? Instead of him doing like what most quarterbacks do, dumping it all, that little pass to the guy, he could be my lead blocker out there, and I take off.
I do.
Yeah,
think that, I do.
So we're like Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins gets outside the pocket. He's got a running back sitting there. It's better for him to give it to a playmaker, and maybe that guy can make a move and get a big play. But for Jalen, I'm rolling out. Instead of me checking down, boy, turn around and block. Be my blocker. I'm going to get more yards than you. I don't have to make a tackle miss.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's part of it. Now, do you guys, for me, the way they're describing Trae Sermon, I'd be shocked if he was cut, honestly. I think Trae Sermon's going to make this football team, right? So you got Trae Sermon, Swift, Gainwell's definitely going to make the team.
Well, you definitely got to see what Trae does in preseason, though, because he's going to get touches. So he can look great in practice. You don't produce against second and third stringers, he might get cut, regardless of how talented they think he is.
That's going to be his bread and butter, like you said, where he has to shine.
Yeah, right.
Not like you said. Unfortunately, we got to move on. I mean,
exactly, 100%.
I hate to say it, but yeah. But like you were saying, Joe, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Maiko Spencer playing in the Diego's point. He said screens are meant more for a pocket quarterback, so the O-line has a clock in their heads. Hurts can move. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. My only argument to that, and I agree with what he said, is they had a great screen game when they had Donovan, and Donovan had mobility. But you know what, though? Donovan really, after his first couple of years, he really didn't run much.
I was going to say it. They didn't want Donovan to run, though.
Right.
Like I feel like that was put in there to be like, all right, dude, we don't want you to run, so let's run a screen game. Let's find a way to make it dangerous and get people out in front and block it on the end because they didn't want Donovan to run.
Now, do you guys think?
I feel like if Donovan would have kept the same mentality of running the way he had early on in his career, all the way through his career, he'd definitely be a Hall of Famer and he'd definitely have a Super Bowl.
I agree. And it's ironic because I think at least one or two of his injuries came from the pocket. Same thing as Randall. Randall got hurt in the pocket.
Right.
Running out of bounds. They took his legs out. Once you take one of those fast, elusive quarterbacks out, their legs, they're shit out of luck, man.
RG3. Perfect example. He hurt his knee, was never the same again. And that dude was explosive. I've never seen a guy become so much less athletic after a knee injury.
Explosive and elusive. Yeah, exactly. When you tear your ankle, you're done. You're not the same player. I'm sorry.
RG3 got that Carson Wentz disease. Remember RG3, his rookie year was like so dynamic, and then he tried to play that playoff game. He didn't want to leave. Then he came back early in 2013.
Hurt himself.
He was never the same guy. And then you look at Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, MVP candidate, 2017, gets hurt, comes back, then he gets hurt again. There is a part of me that wonders if the hit by Clowney really messed Wentz up in the head, because
I think it did.
Because
that was a penalty.
Yeah, 100%. That was the biggest penalty.
I hate to cut you off, Joe, but
no, it's okay.
He basically put him, and I think I have it in my phone in slow-mo. He basically tombstoned him
right into the ground,
and kind of, you're going. This is for the team. You don't do that, regardless of any team. But I think, like you said, it kind of the psyche messed with him.
Well, that's why I'm wondering if something, because if you think about it, right, I've always looked back to the 2017 injury and then 2018 because Foles winning the Super Bowl messed with his head, but in reality, Wentz the last like 4 or 5 weeks of 2019 when he was playing with those Wawa receivers, he played really well.
Yeah,
and then the Clowney hit comes, and you guys remember watching him in 2020. I mean, he was. Dude, like
he was there, but he wasn't there. Yeah,
he never the same again.
He made terrible decisions.
He did.
You know what I mean? Like I don't recall him throwing 1 million interceptions before 2020. Then all of a sudden, he was throwing it like right to dudes, and I was like, "What the hell are you looking at, bro?" You know what I'm saying? Like
that's a big possibility, Joe. The head injuries they can mess you up.
Damn right. It changes a player.
Now, did you guys see Carson Wentz working out the other day?
Yeah.
With the Redskins shirt, the Eagles helmet, and the Colts shorts.
That's CTE at its best.
My man needs a team.
Yeah, he looked like me, bro.
He did.
I could do that. I could do that, John.
One of your jerseys.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I could do that. I could do that, John, dude. I could have a Rodgers John. I could have a Raiders hat. You know what I'm saying? Like a Eagle, you know what I mean? Like Eagles underoos. Remember that? No, I'm just playing. Remember them Johns?
For another time.
No, I'm just playing. Maiko Spencer with a comment here. He says, speaking of screens, we run it 3 different ones. They work, keeps the defense honest. I'm at practice now. I'm gonna call or my slip screen Sully Squad. Nice, LOL. Nice, dog. Make that John successful. There we go. The Sully Squad only associates with winning, bro. No, I'm just playing.
So training camp standouts. Let's get back to that. Okay. What do you guys think? Who do you guys think? Who's going to stand out in training camp and preseason this year?
So you know who obviously hasn't been standing out is the linebackers.
I agree.
Because had they been standing out, we wouldn't have signed Miles Jack and who's the other guy we signed? Cunningham. Was it Cunningham? Yeah, I was gonna say now. I like both of those signings, but it does make me a little nervous. Like, what the hell are the linebackers not doing in camp to make them have to do that?
Well, one thing, what's the severity of Dean's ankle injury? What's the deal with Morrow? Is he underachieving or overachieving? I mean, they brought him in to kind of take a spot. Obviously, he's not your TJ Edwards or Kazir White, but the guys Miles Jack and Zach Cunningham, between both of them, 175 snaps, I believe. So you got a lot of starts, veteran presence. I mean, I'm hyped up, and I told you about Miles Jack, but yeah,
you've been talking about him for months. I mean,
hey, it's laughing at me.
It's a good. No, I like it. It's a good signing. I mean, I was right there with you, man. The guy's got 7-8 years experience. Yeah. He was a first-round pick.
He started 15. He started 15 games last year.
Yeah. Right.
36 pick for the Jags in 2014. I mean, yeah.
My take on it. Our linebackers suck, and they were like, we know Miles Jack can do a decent job because he already had, like, you have it all on paper. You know what he can do. And I think to do Cunningham, they also, as a 7-year veteran, see he can serve a purpose on the field. If none of these guys take that step and really take that linebacker, like if Morrow, if he don't show up, then it's like, all right, we know Zach Cunningham is at least going to do the job that we know he can do because we have all this film on him and all this shit on him, opposed to these younger guys. To me, it tells me that our linebackers are not looking good. And this is even if Dean's one starter, you still gotta get rotation. You still gotta get depth. So you sign 2 to replace Morrow.
Don't forget Christian Ellis too. I mean, he's having a great camp.
Is he?
Yes, he is. But once again, let's see preseason live action where you're hitting bodies.
If they believe in Ellis, though, and he's having such a great camp, you probably only sign 1 vet opposed to 2 vets.
I mean, with training camp, it's any man's game. You know what I mean? Like you said, more people, more bodies. It goes to see the strong versus the weak.
Right.
You know, pick and choose, like you said.
I agree.
Fuji agrees with you. He said, nope, totally agree, Diego. And then he also says we can't draft linebackers. And then one more thing, because this is actually an interesting point, because we were talking about Carson Wentz. The Lions were rumored to possibly be a landing spot for Wentz. Well, one less job for him possibly. They just signed Teddy Bridgewater, so I have no idea where Carson.
I don't even see a job for him in the NFL.
He probably goes to Minnesota. Watch.
I think his best fit, like if I had to pick a team, I would put him on the Vegas. I'll put him on the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, because they have what, Garoppolo, and then they have somebody from New England. Who the hell did they get?
Steinman?
Stedman or something? I don't even remember, dude.
He's a scrub. It's not Zappy, is it?
No, Zappy's with New England. I forget who they signed. They signed somebody from New England. They don't have Brian Hoyer, do they? He's been around for like 100 million years. I don't
think it's Hoyer.
That dude.
I don't think it's Hoyer.
I don't know.
If anything, it's Stedman or something.
Yeah, Stedman. Isn't that Oprah's long-term boyfriend, Stedman? Remember the nutty professor where they were talking about Stedman? They're like, oh, Oprah got a strapping young man.
Yeah, you're right. They got Jimmy G, Brian Hoyer, Aiden O'Connell, the rookie, and Chase Garbers.
Brian Hoyer. Yeah, they might as well just pick up Carson.
Ain't that fucked up though? Imagine being Carson Wentz and you can't even get a job over Brian Hoyer.
He must have a horrible rap though. Like he must have a bad name around the NFL. Where like so many people have asked him, like he's been in what, 3 teams already?
Yeah.
With all that talent, people are probably like, yo, what is it with this guy? And they start hearing shit and they're like, I don't want that. I don't want him.
Well, here's the thing. I said Minnesota before we go on. Kirk Cousins, Jaron Hall, Nick Mullins. I mean, I see him fitting.
Minnesota may
be a fit.
You know, that's what I'm saying.
And it's not that far from North Dakota. So the bottom line is if he doesn't like what he's getting, he can make an easy commute to North Dakota and go hunt some bear and shit.
You know
I mean,
and parade it.
What's that?
I said, and parade that shit.
Yeah, exactly. He could be like the Revenant. Remember Gargano used to play the Revenant on his show in the morning. I remember when Wentz was killing it, man. I'd be so pumped. I'd be like, oh yeah. And then, man, the poor. I don't know. I kind of feel bad. There's a part of me that feels really bad for the dude, though. You know what I mean? Because
here we go. Feeling bad for professional athletes.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Trophy.
Yeah. Oh man, Carson Wentz.
Hey, we did win a Super Bowl though. We won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, we wouldn't have won it without him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
we don't win it without him. That's facts. That's facts.
Yeah. Although
it's a match made, just like Fuji said, it's a match made in heaven.
Yeah. There you go.
Good call, Kilrain.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz, Sean has found your new home. Whoever Carson Wentz agent, make a phone call to the Minnesota Vikings.
I know, right? I know. Shit, I forget what the hell I was gonna say.
You were saying about
Carson Wentz, the reason you feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was saying, like you said, we don't win the Super Bowl. We don't win the Super Bowl without Wentz. And I've said it a million times. I'll say it one more time. We don't win the Super Bowl if he doesn't get hurt because I feel like the guy not to shit on the dude, but the guy's kind of a choke artist, and he doesn't have the balls that Nick Foles has.
I agree.
So that year,
it was the perfect storm that year. We needed exactly what happened for us to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So you know what's great though? Just think about it. The Sully Squad literally just found a job for Carson Wentz.
Yep, Minnesota Vikings.
How is your boy?
Hire the Sully Squad as your agent. We got you.
No, Diego, you're like Ari Gold, bro.
There we go.
Diego, no, Kilrain's Ari Gold.
Yeah, Kilrain.
Yeah, Ari Gold. All right.
Show him go, baby.
All right. So if you're Ari Gold, who's Turtle? Which one of us is Turtle? And Johnny Drama, you know?
We all got to roll.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I want to. I'm single again. I want to be Vinny Chase. The only problem is I'm like 20. I'm like 20 some years too old. I don't think it's gonna work.
No, not today. You're fitting just fine.
Yeah. So
you're
all right.
good.
All right. Before we get out of here, then any other thoughts on the? Oh, you know what? I did see on Crossing Broad last night. They said that kid Sidney Brown has really good closing speed, and and people were writing saying that if you could hit people, he'd be ready to jack some people up. Did you notice any of that? Or it's like, again, it's probably hard to notice, right?
It's hard to notice. I mean, you had the second team going against the first team D going against the second team offense. Yeah, I mean, but he is. I give him high praise, like I said to you before when we drafted him, and I mean the kid's going to play. So I think we have three safeties with Terrell Edmonds being like a hybrid linebacker, you know, and who knows?
I think Sidney Jones takes a starting job before the season comes.
Okay.
I think it's going to be. I think. Oh, I know what I read. I forgot that I saw this. Apparently, now I don't know if this is bullshit because sometimes they write guys up.
Yeah,
but. Supposedly, Kayvon Wallace came into camp like in unbelievably like beast shape. Like now, I don't believe in him because he hasn't shown shit.
Yeah, exactly.
But
he sucks.
Okay, I'm just going by what I read. I'm just saying.
I know where you're going with this.
We'll see when they actually play. But I was reading something and they said camp surprises that Kayvon Wallace came in really good shape, looks really good. He looks jacked. Now it remains to be seen what he does with it. But I mean, let's keep it real. The guy knows. I mean, his NFL career. I mean, hey, what's he? Third year, fourth year. I mean, this is put up or shut up time. You know what I mean?
I thought that dude was going to be like a definite pro though. Like watching them at Clemson when they had them good teams.
They called him the next Dawkins, Diego.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, you have so much, and like Dawkins said, you can't compare these kids to me. They
right.
Make their own mark. But back to it before we go. Has he proved anything? Hell no. I mean, a special teams ace, if anything.
If anything.
You know?
My man got out the car looking like Freddie Dawkins.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. Come on.
But you're right, though. And he's, like Fuji said, he's on the bubble. Like, it's put up or shut up. It all comes down to live action. You know, hitting, doing this. Practice, Sirianni, I think, is just playing patty cakes. Because you don't want nobody to get hurt. You don't want Hurts and all these top-notch players you have because you invested too much to shit the bed.
Right.
If we do that, we're done. We're not an NFC division leader, playoff, and all that other stuff. Just throw it out the door.
I know, and I hate saying it, and I know Maiko Spencer and Dave Yarnell and our Cowboys guys are going to love hearing it, but I'm sorry. I think the Cowboys are going to be something to be reckoned with this year.
Bring it.
I agree.
Really, I really do. I mean, I hate saying it as an Eagles fan, but they're going to be good, bro.
Good.
I think they're every bit as good as the Eagles. And I think what separates us from them is I'm taking Jalen Hurts all day over Dak Prescott.
And a running game. You got Tony Pollard. You don't have Zeke back there.
Man, Tony Pollard, though, at his healthiest,
injury, though,
He's definitely got a big injury. I don't know how he's going to bounce back from it. But if they get Tony Pollard back, like from last year, like how he was playing before injury, it's a stud running back.
Couldn't agree more.
I was listening to Adam Kaplan on that 97.3 show that Fuji got me on. He said he was at the Cowboys camp. He said that Tony Pollard looks really good. That he looks like he's back from his injury. And he also said, "Oh, you know who looks good?" I was reading something too. The kid Deuce Vaughn they drafted from Kansas State. They say he for as small as he is, he's doing a great job blocking, and they really like that kid. They like that kid a lot.
I see that kid getting hit one shot, a good shot, and it's either going to make it or break it from him. But
yeah, Fuji with a comment here. He says all these players good in camp. Dawkins always said you can't tell talent until you see it in a game. That's
100%.
One more comment here. Fuji saying, "Is Zach Martin still holding out?" That I'm not. Is he? I'm not.
No. He came back.
Did he come back? Okay.
Yeah, I think he came back.
All right. So, all right. Well, guys. I mean, hey, we could talk football all night. You know what I mean? We'll get into a lot more. I mean, next week. Well, the Eagles play Saturday. I mean, well, I don't know how many people playing, but I mean, hey, we'll have a game to discuss next Monday night.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens, but yeah, guys. Once again, thanks again to Kane Kalas for hopping on. That was a lot of fun. Make sure you check out his CD. It looks really good.
High hopes.
Yep, and go Phils. Phils look like they're not playing tonight, so hopefully the doubleheader tomorrow they kill it, and hopefully, well, Phillies this week got what? Four with the Nats, and
then 3 with the Twins.
All right. Yeah. Well, let's do a Phillies record real quick. 7 games. What are we doing?
5-2.
That's what I say. I say 5.
5 and 2. I like it.
Yeah. Even though the Nats stink, the Nats actually are playing really good ball the last couple of weeks. I think we caught them at a bad time. So. All right, we all say 5-2. So if that's the case, because I'm hoping we can make a little hay in this wild card race. We're number 1 seed right now.
We got to start separating ourselves.
Let's start separating ourselves.
From the boys.
Hopefully, Trae Turner keeps hitting, and the fans can cheer him for performance because that would be great.
Absolutely.
So, all right, fellas. It's been real. We'll be back next week. See y'all.